With the world changing technologically, we find that we often need to put content out that has an appeal, is well produced, and has the information that we're actually after. Today's video, I will be looking at that very subject with the words Holy Spirit and with the words Pentecostal. They're connected, and clearly we want to actually get the audience realizing that. In this instance, we're going to be using AI to create the content, but also editing it in such a way that it actually appeals and just has that little bit of extra touch. My name is John Fairest. I would appreciate it if you could give us a like, thumbs up, and leave any comment that you feel really matches what we're talking about here. So without further ado, let me just share the screen that we're going to go to. This is ChatGPT. Came on the scene a couple of years ago. Really exciting stuff with the opportunity of creating some interesting content. In this case, we're going to write an article, and I am just going to literally post this particular content in. I'm going to introduce and explain Pentecost and the Holy Spirit, provide biblical references, and explain how the Pentecostal movement started. I'm also going to explain ask the ChatGPT rather, how are the Holy Spirit connected and what would define a Pentecostal church today? The key words Pentecostal and Holy Spirit are the basic terminology that I'm actually after. So Pentecost and Holy Spirit, the key words for me in this particular instance. I'm looking for a post of 600 words. So you have to give ChatGPT quite a lot of info to create the information you might be after. So it's going to give us an outline of the post there. Good deal of information. And here we go. So it's already giving us a Greek understanding of it, of Pentecost. There we've got Bible verses coming in, and we've got key scriptures and events. The one thing you will notice is that it's actually not producing any images. In this instance, I would actually put the images aside in a different way. I would use something like Canva, and this is what we've actually got prepared for later. The Canva actual images themselves, etc. We've also got explanations there about revival. That's quite a key part to us. So the process, as you can see, we've got bold words to make us stand out a little bit. The key words of Holy Spirit and Pentecostal visible. So quite a lot of really good content that's really going to help the article being identified. And a conclusion as well. And there we go. So we've got quite a lot of information there. We can copy that straight if we wish to. I'm not going to do that, but what I am going to do is just potentially I would only look at copying from here on there. This would be the actual introduction we'd have in this instance. Now, I've also produced on something called Perplexity AI, just the same question, effectively. And again, I'm just going to scroll this in and you'll see an answer being produced. So here we have a couple of key factors. We have sources. Now, for many, this is going to be quite important, where information is actually being generated from. So you might have a slightly different angle on the production of this. Again, this can be shared or rewritten. And we've also got different aspects on questions that might be relevant. So if we open that up, for example, we would have further explanation, the original of the name, core beliefs, practices. Now, this here would be quite useful to actually take on board as additional information. And now it fits in very much with what we already have, but we can actually add this into additional content further down the road. It can be very, very useful to add this in a different way. Now, I've also prepared a second angle from this. I used the following bit of info, and we can see a series of words put together that's produced this particular item. Now, this is called a text builder. It produces Q&As right at the bottom. This is quite effective. We can generate the AI images, and this is an AI image generated for this particular area of text. That would be what's called a featured image, and that will produce an image to go on the front when you're sharing on social media. You can add the featured image to attract the reader to click on the button. So that's a different form of posting. So if you remember, we were going to have a title, which we've got here. So I'm going to copy that into our post for today. Okay, so we now have the post, and we can design something like this with Elementor that I'm going to use in this instance. Elementor is a site builder, has a number of quite useful resources to go alongside it. In this particular instance, let's just go there. I'm going to add a few of these, what we call containers, just to help with the structure of the page. And you will see why in due course. So you could do this as blocked in other forms of WordPress, but certainly in this instance, what I'm looking for is just to add in the text area here. And now you're about to see why. So I go back into ChatGPT, and I am going to take this section here, and I am going to, on the left-hand side here, just remove that there and put that in there. Gives us a nice starting point as an introduction. Now, the reason why I do this way is I can add images above it. I cannot easily, I've found, stick the images in here. There's no section within this framework of text builder to do that. I've already identified that in actual fact you can't add the images into the ChatGPT area. That facility is not available unless you upgrade. And I'm actually showing you, apart from text builder, all aspects done in a very simplistic, practical way, cost-effective way, which for many of us is the key aspect to it. So I'm going to I am adding in various sections to it, as you can see, and this will help us actually generate it. I will do this last one and then add the additional content. I'll pause the angle from it. So again, you take your text in, you can just slide it in like that, change it in. The interesting thing is TextBuilder, you can auto do it, but then you have to go in and put the images in afterwards. In some instances, that can be slightly harder to do, and that's one sometimes not so keen on doing it that way. So let me just stop sharing for a second. I'm just going to pause. Okay, so I'm just returning to our content. And as you can see, I've now filled in a considerable number of different aspects to the content, which is brilliant. And now I'm really thinking to myself, oh, this looks good. Some of these bits look really exciting. And so what I might want to do is to actually introduce different elements to this. Now, this can involve additional content like images. And what we can find really useful at this stage is if we were to take the image, say, for example, there and slide it into our introduction, we can then upload files like Pentecost 2024. Oh, by the way, you might recognize this image here as being similar to that particular image we had earlier. So that's a nice large image we have. We can then again slide the image in here maybe, and we can just select our image, and this produces a lot more flavor to where we are at with our process. So in some cases this will really help add additional factors to what we're trying to do. And we might decide, for example, that we're going to add in a different way. We can add a media file. We can add it in just like that. So loads of different ways of actually making it in our setup the way we want it. Don't forget, if you've got image to the left, if you centralize it, it'll just bring it through. So hopefully that gives you some flavor of what can be added to our publication. I am going to now just publish it temporarily. And we can look and see how the image is going to look. And as you can see there, there's a post, there's a nice bit of content there, quite a lot of information there, generally speaking. And I would suggest that if you get to that point, go into your editing your post, because that's going to be quite useful to do. Why? Because when we get to there, we can just slide down and check that we've got tags in the categories. Maybe you might be looking at that. You might be looking at adding Pentecost, for example. So let's see, we've got Pentecost there. No, now this is exactly where we would add in new categories. We would want Pentecost, and we would want the Holy Spirit. And we would add in our, I think I'm going to use AI because I think this is actually quite nice. It quite appeals to me, that particular image. Note the alt tags are already in there. Title, alt tag helps people find it. Here's the content of what's there. This image is a WebP image, so this system, and I cover this in other videos, automatically generates that for us in a in the setup that we might wish to have in as a WebP, and we update that bit, and basically there we go. That is our setup. Now, there is one other thing you can do. If you've got your SEO, you can have your header tags, etc. here to actually really promote this. I use one of the SEO Press Pro. Now, that works with Google to actually do it. I'll just briefly show you that. So if I go into my dashboard and I go to posts, all posts, you'll see that we have a number of different areas there that we are running, and we can literally generate our meta titles just by clicking on the button there, and this will actually generate titles connected to our site, and that's an easy way of doing it. Now, I mentioned that we've got a bunch of other areas there that run. This little circle, by the way, runs until it's loaded up. It has the opportunity of the tags, and it also has the meta description options to actually promote these various posts in the AI format. So hopefully, folks, that's been of use. You've seen the actual end post itself. It does work, it functions, and you're going to get the end result. Don't forget, ChatGPT will give you a good starting point, and it's free. You can log in and register with Google. Perplexity is another one. You can use Canva free. You can generate some images. There's a number of other different types of images software that you can use, AI type, open source type. Leonardo's one that will help you produce that image that you might just want from keywords. All these areas will help. Now, I'm hoping that this has been of some use. Let me know, and then if possibly I will create additional videos. Thank you very much indeed for watching this particular video.